Reverse Psychology 20 Lessons on How to Use Rejection to Your Favor. This video will introduce you to key Stoic ideas that can help you keep your cool, even in the most trying times. Everyone experiences emotional upsets, but it's important to maintain a level of Stoic emotional awareness so that you can identify emotions that are just that, emotions, and not a reflection of actual reality, although it may seem that way in the moment. It's important because, if we always accept our initial impressions, it could cause us to say or do things we can never take back, resulting, for example, in the loss of a friendship, job or marriage. 1. How you think affects how you feel. Over half a century ago, psychotherapists Albert Ellis and Tim Beck were becoming increasingly frustrated with Freudian psychoanalysis. So many hours spent trawling through their patients' life stories, so little improvement. Could there be a more direct and efficient way to help their patients? Stumbling upon Epictetus's handbook, they read this sentence: "People are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." If that's true, we can feel better by becoming more aware of how we are upsetting ourselves and learning how to think differently. In time, Beck and Ellis developed their own therapies based on this central Stoic idea, and these have become known as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT. Countless people have been helped by these therapies since. Whenever you feel upset, try to detect the part you play in that happening. 2. The power to choose how to feel. We've all been there. It's been hours and your partner still hasn't replied to your text, or you may have felt intentionally left out of a gathering with your friends. Of course, it's natural for these things to make you feel irritated or angry. But what if you gave the benefit of the doubt to the people in this situation? Would you then go from feeling irritated and angry to feeling much calmer? Would you become a more compassionate person if you simply considered that perhaps these people were preoccupied or simply weren't thinking? How much does your desire for peace, love and understanding outweigh your desire to want to feel angry and bitter? The choice is yours. 3. Observe your thoughts and emotions. Keep a journal. Those who do not observe the movements of their own minds must of necessity be unhappy. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations 2.8. Marcus Aurelius knew that we need to be proactive to keep on top of our emotions. That's why he kept his journal, which has come down to us as his meditations. Josh is a 22-year-old who has just finished university. He's delighted to have found his first job but has to live at home again, with a 3-hour daily commute. Josh is becoming increasingly frustrated. This is what he writes in his first journal entry: "Feeling exhausted and quite low about my daily commute. I can't go on like this." Josh found this a helpful first step, allowing him some detachment from the situation. In a flash of insight, Josh understood that he must move closer to work. As he gained clarity, it was like a dark cloud had lifted. His very first Stoic journal entry helped him realize that it was within his power to change things. This solution might appear obvious, but being caught up in frustration clouds your vision. Today, jot down your emotions and the thoughts that are associated with them. 4. Picture yourself as a comic book hero. How are you doing on your Stoic journal? Some people, like Josh, find it easy to identify the thoughts upsetting them. Others may find it harder to put their finger on what exactly is causing them distress. If you're one of those people, you're not alone. Imagine, however, that you're a comic book hero. Better yet, imagine you're Spider-Man and your spider sense is tingling. What would your thought bubble say? Would you be able to identify what's triggering your spider sense? Try to put your thoughts into words today by using this exercise. 5. Stoic Serenity is as easy as ABCD. Over the next dozen entries, you'll learn about the 4 main ways that your thoughts can cause negative emotions. According to Stoicism, you can make progress right away by learning them, and it's as easy as ABCD. Assumptions. Are you making a snap judgment or assuming too much? Blame. Are you blaming others or yourself? Catastrophizing. Are you thinking something is worse than it really is? Dichotomies. Are you neglecting the dichotomies of control or value? Today's Stoic challenge is to learn your ABCD. Spend a few minutes learning what each letter stands for. I promise it will be worth the effort. 6. Avoid snap judgments. If you are human, then you're probably an Olympic champion at making snap judgments. Do you find yourself thinking things like, "He is ignoring me. They are going to be cross with me"? Do you agree that if you buy into these snap judgments, you are bound to feel upset? However, you don't have to accept these snap judgments as if they were solid facts. Are any of the above judgments the only explanation for what happened? He is ignoring me. Maybe he's preoccupied. They are going to be cross with me. Is that a fact or just my fear? As the old saying goes, assume and you make an ass out of you and me. Today, be mindful of snap judgments. 7. That's just my initial impression. More things frighten us than really hurt us. Seneca, Letters 13.4. If snap judgments are likely to make an ass of us all, what can we do about it? It's hard to stop judging. That's what we humans are wired to do. But we can train ourselves to be more mindful that we are making snap judgments. Here's one way. When an upsetting thought enters your mind, the first thing to do is remind yourself it's just an impression in your mind and not the thing it claims to represent. Or how about saying these mantras to yourself whenever you are upset? That's just my initial impression. I feel this way, but that doesn't make it true. A thought is not a fact, it's just an opinion. Try each of them on for size and see which one works best. 8. The passport control officer. We ought not to accept an appearance without examination, but we should say, "Wait, let me see what you are and from where you come." Like the night watch says, "Show me your pass." Epicus. This course is the 3rd of December 2014 to 15. At passport control, they take care not to let anyone potentially dangerous into the country. They take a good look at your photo and then at you to check that you are who you claim to be. Epictetus advises us to do the same thing with our initial thoughts. Passport control has a big responsibility, not to let in the wrong people. You have an equal responsibility, not to let in snap judgments. Today, think of yourself as passport control to guard against snap judgments. 9. Accept what you can't control. If something concerns anything not in our control, be prepared to say that it is nothing to you. Epictetus, Handbook 1. One part of the Stoic way is to take control when we can. With Josh, C64, it meant moving out. But what about times when we have no control? If you can't take control of external things, you can always take control of how you think about them. Epictetus suggests we say this about all the things we cannot control: "It is nothing to me." Could this work for you? Here are 2 similar phrases that my clients have found helpful. "I can't change it, so I'm not going to let it bother me. I've done all I can, so there's no point thinking about it." Move on. Which do you prefer? 10. No use crying over spilt milk. Victoria tried out 2 versions of yesterday's mantra. Here is your feedback. It was so liberating. My ex posted something on Facebook about his new relationship. It is nothing to do with me and I shouldn't take it personally. Later, I spilt coffee over my top. I can't change that, but I can change my top. Hey, I've just remembered a saying of my nan's. There's no use crying over spilt milk. I wonder if she was a Stoic without knowing it. 11. The Genius of Seneca. You're driving along without a care in the world. Suddenly a car pulls out in front of you. Your reaction may be to slam on the brakes, muttering, "What there? That idiot might have killed me." Seneca's genius was to understand that this is an automatic response. It's the fight-flight response. But it doesn't have to dictate what you do next. What happens if you don't challenge your snap judgment? Worst case scenario, road rage. Or, and this is the Stoic way, you take a few breaths to calm down and remind yourself that no one has died. You can choose to fuel the flames or to put the fire out. Today, notice initial, automatic responses. 12. Stoicism Under Fire. From Aurielus, mentor, psychology teacher and Stoic educator who was registered blind. severely sight impaired. I was at a busy train station when a man ripped my guide dog's lead out of my hands and tried to steal him. I was screaming for help and shouted for the police, who eventually arrived. Shaking, I worried that this was the end of my traveling independently. I realized, though, that while I was not in control of what happened, I still had a choice in how to react. I was angry until I thought about the kind of life someone must be living to steal a guide dog. He is a fellow human, worthy of compassion. Anger was going to do me more harm. The event left me feeling more trust in my character. I now realize that I can trust myself to act with wisdom even in an emergency. 13. It's only money. Quick quiz. The dichotomy of value is defined as A. The difference between what things cost on Black Fridays and the rest of the time. B. Doing the right thing, with virtue, is the only thing that is really good. External things like money, status, and pleasure are of less value. C. No idea, it's all Greek to me. As you may remember from the previous videos, the dichotomy of value means that doing the right thing, with virtue, is the only thing that is really good, and so everything else becomes less important. Someone just dropped your favorite mug. Ask yourself, does my happiness really depend on this mug? It's in your power to wipe out the judgment that external things matter so much. 14. Stoicism on the Road. From Dr. Keith Seddon, author of Stoic Serenity and Epictetus Handbook and the Tablet of Sebs, Guide to Stoic Living. Moving to a new house last year, over 200 miles away, required traveling to the other end of the country, there and back, round and round in endless repetition, a total distance of over 2,000 miles. Through all this toil I reminded myself, as did Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations, that I would be confronted by rudeness, incompetence and travails of all sorts. I must not hand over my equanimity to others. To me, things were neither good nor bad, but merely preferred or dispreferred, lacking any power to perturb. I remember one afternoon, creeping along for ages in third gear behind a tractor, thinking, this delay simply does not matter. Events will unfold at the rate Zeus has set, all I have to do is drive safely with my equanimity intact. 15. Everything has two handles. Everything has two handles, one by which it may be carried, another by which it cannot. Epictetus, Handbook 43. Things don't have the power to make you upset. You have the power to stop them upsetting you. We all have this superpower, our inner Epictetus. The next time something difficult happens to you, simply remind yourself that there are two ways you can handle it, and choose the better way. 16. My inner Epictetus. I was having dinner on a restaurant patio in Athens when I placed my wallet and iPhone on the table. A young boy walked in and showed me a paper with something written on it. I politely asked him to go away. He walked out with his paper and my iPhone and wallet, which his paper had hidden so he could grab them. Naturally, I was upset. Then I heard my inner Epictetus speak up. His voice was particularly clear and authoritative on this occasion because we had spent the day before walking in his footsteps among the ruins of Nicopolis. Didn't I tell you that every situation has two handles? I was using a handle powered by frustration. What was the other handle? To be compassionate. Would I exchange places with the thief? I realized I am better off than him even without my things. My problems were trivial compared to his. Epictetus always comes through for me, and I'm happy to report this is true even when I'm not in Greece. 17. The power of the four virtues. When anything happens to you, always remember to turn to yourself and ask what power you have to deal with it. Epictetus, Handbook 10. The Stoics think that a great way to handle any situation is to look through the lens of the four main virtues. The other day I had trouble sleeping because I was having second thoughts about a pension I had been talked into. Then I remembered the four virtues. Could I feel less disturbed if I looked at my situation through this lens? I started with self-control. I will postpone thinking about it until tomorrow when I can think about it rationally. This helped me get to sleep. Come my morning walk, I was able to view the situation logically, taking each virtue in turn. Wisdom. I need to find out more. Tonight, Justice, I need to be fair to everyone. Courage, if I need to renegotiate or withdraw from the agreement. Wisdom, again, it's only money. Feeling so much more in control, the virtues turned out to be my superpower. How can looking at a situation through the lens of the four main virtues help you today? 18. Take the view from above. My parents loved telling me how much better everything was in their day. They praised to high heaven a radio program called A Brain's Trust, especially one regular panelist, Bertrand Russell. He's always so wise and calm, enthused my mother. What she didn't know was that Russell had once been tormented by the idea of public speaking. He used to hope he would break his leg to avoid having to make a speech. Then he asked himself one key question. How much will it matter, from the point of view of the whole universe, whether I speak well or badly? Russell realized that the universe would remain much the same in either case. The less he cared about how well he spoke, the better he spoke. He learned this idea from his reading of the Stoics and the technique known as the view from above. Can the view from above help you overcome one of your fears? 19. How much will this matter a year from now? I too can catastrophize, and the view from above has come to my assistance on many occasions. One time I was worried about getting a speeding ticket. I recall Bertrand Russell and how, from the point of view of the universe, my getting a speeding ticket didn't matter one iota. I continued by asking myself this related question. On a scale of 0 to 100, of all the bad things that might happen in your life, how bad a catastrophe would this be? Of course, getting a speeding ticket hardly registered in terms of possible catastrophes that might befall me. Another time, I was cross because I'd broken an expensive pair of earbuds. This time, I asked myself a different question. How much will this matter to me in a year's time? Not one jot. Came the reply. How much does it matter from the point of view of the universe? How bad is this, really? How much will this matter a year from now? Which view from above do you want to try? 20. Don't play the blame game. To accuse others for one's own misfortunes is a sign of want of education. To accuse oneself shows that one's education has begun. To accuse neither oneself nor others shows that one's education is complete. Epictetus, Handbook 5. You wake up late for breakfast and rush downstairs. As you open the fridge, yogurt spills out all over. You leave home in a foul mood, made worse by getting stuck in heavy traffic. You arrive late for work, ready to find fault with everything and everyone there. Is it just me, or do you too find that when things go wrong, it's all too easy to start on the slippery slope of blaming everyone? Why did they put the yogurt there? Or maybe you are their type of person who tends to blame themselves. Why am I so clumsy? But think. Does blaming yourself or others do any good? Or does it just make things worse? What would be a better approach? And that's a wrap on this video in the transformative power of Stoicism. If this deep dive spurred something in you, please remember it's just the beginning. Your path to greatness is unfolding right now and we are here to walk it with you. Quick reminder, hit the like button if this resonates with you and subscribe with the notification bell on, so you don't miss out on the wonderful journey ahead. We have got some exciting explorations into Stoicism coming up that you will definitely not want to miss, and even more you would want to see plus experience. And before we go, let's chat in the comments, and share your thoughts, your experiences, your successes, your struggles with Stoicism. This isn't just a channel, it is a community, and your insights are what makes it special. Remember, it is not just about the end destination. It's about the journey that shapes and makes us who we are day in and day out. Stay strong and become the ultimate version of yourself. Thank you and see you soon.